All right. Good evening, boys and girls. It is good to see everybody this week. Funny story. In fact, let me share with you who my friend is this week. It's Ruby Claire, all the way from Canada, and of course, I've got. There we go. Had YouTube open. So anyway, Ruby's here with us, and she's going to be helping out in the chat. Last week, funny story. I was at work, my part-time job at the Ark Encounter, and I was scheduled off at 1. That's how we work Tuesday. If they work me at on Tuesday, I'm off at 1 o'clock. Scheduler knows that. Well, I had been sent up to give somebody a 10-minute break and then somebody else a 30-minute break. I was in the middle of the 30-minute break and I said to myself, I was supposed to get off at 1 o'clock and it was 2:30 then. So I came down a few minutes later and I told my manager at the time, I said, we messed up. She said, what do you mean? I said, I was off at 1 o'clock. She looked at her watch and saw it was almost 3. She said, oh no. So anyway, that's where I was last week. I am so sorry I couldn't be here, but it was for a good cause, I guess. Good for my paycheck anyway. So Ruby, I'm going to pop you back in the background, and I'm going to. Oh, before I do that, um, I've got this piece of sycamore. The bark is about half off of it. Um, just a nice little crotch piece of sycamore. I don't know if we're going to save any of the crotch figure or not. But we're going to do another one of the bowls like we did 2 weeks ago. And I'll show you that bowl at the end. It's looking pretty good. It's still getting some finish on it. But I'll show you that one and I'll show you this one. And Ruby may even get to pick what color she wants on this one. So,
Oh
Ruby, I'm
dear.
going to go ahead and put, I'm going to go ahead and put you in the background, let you share with us who all's here, and I'll get started here on the lathe, getting some things going here. All right.
Okay. Well, first in this evening was Paul Norfolk Hunter, followed by Dale Old Man River, Todd at Glen Cove, Malcolm Douglas. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. Mike still dancing with aardvarks. Al Dawson. Let's see. Chris Charlton, Lucy, Roger Woolham. Hi, Roger. Dale, Old Man Woodturner. I think I said Mike. Alex, the Wood Butcher. Hmm. And Scott Hampton's in. I hope you're getting out of that heat, Scott, out there. Mike Evans. Let's see. MG Woodworks. Sorry, I
Leo.
forgot. Leo. Let's see. And that's the one.
All
Welcome,
right.
everyone. And if I missed you, I apologize and know that you're welcome anyway.
Welcome.
And don't worry about giving Doug heck for missing last week. I already did that.
She did. We'll start off with my half-inch bowl gouge here, like I normally do.
And Lawrence Aldridge has joined us. Hi, Larry. And for those that didn't want to see him mount the wood on the lathe, he's put it on between centers.
Yeah, just between centers. Going to turn a tenon on this back side, bottom side, whatever you want to call that. On my normal deal, I'm working on the corner, through the bottom and the side all at the same time.
Anthony Green's joined us. And Mike says they missed you, Doug, but all is forgiven.
Thank you very much.
I'll tell you guys, Doug was very upset about that. So,
I wasn't very happy.
and Leo says that after painting the exterior of his house, he's almost ready to get back turning. And Scott says it's only supposed to be 103 today, so it's not too bad. Well, you keep the heat out there, Scott, and don't send it this way.
For sure. We've been enjoying 70-degree weather here in Kentucky.
And so have we, and it's for me that's perfect.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice. Now I did last night. I was feeling a little cool. I'd come in from work and went in. Well, after I was home a little while, went up, took a shower, put on shorts and a t-shirt, came back down to the basement, watched TV a little while, and was feeling a little cool. I went upstairs and did all those things that I do when I go upstairs, and checked the thermometer on the thermostat while I was there, and it says 77. The windows had been open all day. It was not 77 here in the house, but that's what the thermostat said. I came downstairs. I told my wife, I am cold. I'm shivering. The thermostat upstairs says 77. She says, "You're cold."
Oh dear. And Lucy says that she didn't go shopping this evening because she wanted to watch you. So
Lucy,
that's a big deal if she skipped shopping to
I
watch
mean to
you.
tell you it is. Lucy, sweet potato, thank you. Thank you. By the way, had an interesting milestone this week.
Yes.
100,000 views. Um, and that's all on you guys, the viewers. Thank you all so much. I do appreciate it. Um, it does make a difference. It does make a difference.
Now Leo was saying he's still considering what to make for this year. Probably a bunch more ornaments. Well, I was issued a challenge, Leo, to see what 5 things I could come up with from a pen blank other than a pen. So you think about that. Now Lucy did slip over the hill to get some milk and bread, but she'll do the rest tomorrow. And Alex says congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Well,
Posted that on. Go ahead.
Leo's looking for some tips on things to make, and one thing I find works well, like I make the little snail clocks, but if you even made just a sphere with a clock inserted into it and then just sand one side a little bit flat so it'll sit on a desk, those work well as gifts.
Still got that one area right there. That's a cambium layer and some bark left. Still got a flat right there and there and so I'm not quite ready to make the turn on this, but we're getting there. I have increased the speed. We started off at about 800. We're up to 1200 now.
And Chris is wondering what on earth Tesco will do with all the leftover winter sausages now that Lucy skipped out. Lucy says she's felt cold today. Yes, pen blanks do make good finials. Can you highlight me just for a minute, Doug?
I can.
Here's an idea of what you can do with a lot of leftover scraps of wood. First, you turn a whole bunch of eggs. As soon as
There
Doug,
you go.
and then you make a plate full of them. And that's Egbert on the plate. He died last Friday. Fortunately, he wasn't scrambled, so he turned over easy, and he's now in a better plate. Okay, you can go
Now,
back
folks,
to
she's been working on that line for about 2 months now.
just gives you. Sometimes you have to do things out of the ordinary. Okay, Doug, go back to you. I'm sure they'd rather watch you than me.
All right.
And thanks for taking the time to do that. No, I'm still there.
I'm just I'm working on this. I don't want to get this bowl too small, but at the same time, I need to get all the. I still got a chunk right there.
And Pete from Twisted Trees has joined us. Good morning,
Hey,
Pete.
Pete. How you doing today?
He's
I
getting
guess
ready to go to the south of France on a trip, probably with his motorcycle.
that's what I heard on Harry's live last night, or actually,
I
I
wish
saw it
I,
today.
wish I was going with him. Mind you, I don't think his bike would fit both Lisa and I. Mike says that my egg was not over easy. I'm exaggerating.
All right, still got a little place, a little bit of that notch right there, but um, I'm going to worry about that after we turn it around because I want to take some of that top off. I want to get this top curve blended where it leads into the bottom curve. That's better, but now I got a hump right here. I can get that out.
Maybe if we had an overhead shot, we could see what
That's.
you're talking about.
I was just thinking the same thing. Right,
Okay.
right there's a bit of a hump. I've got the two curves blended on each side of the. And I've lost my settings again. OBS is not holding settings these days for some reason. Pete, have you
Cool.
got a workaround for that to get the OBS to hold its settings?
He probably would. He's a master at computers. He
That's
says that next summer Lisa's planning on riding her motorcycle to Sweden so I can go pylon with him.
there you go.
And Scott says that he's thinking about doing some live YouTube demos starting later this month. It's been a couple months since he's done any. I was saying before Doug went live that I'd have to dig out my cameras where I packed them away in a box if I started doing any more. Just let us know when you're ready to do them, Scott.
Absolutely.
Lucy says she's got one child off to bed, uh, being as how they've got school in the morning. I laughed at my neighbor taking photos of her two kids. The one was off to university and the other is off to grade one.
Mm.
They were standing side by side on the porch, and the young fellow's just over 6 feet, and the little girl doesn't even come up to his waist.
Hmm. That's funny. I'm guessing the second one was a surprise.
It was a second marriage.
Ah, that works too. Either way, it works.
And Todd says that he heard Zed was going to cook some alligator the other day, but he had a problem because all he had was a crock pot.
That would be a problem.
And Zed has joined us.
Hey,
he,
is
says,
it?
he says
Speak.
he hates when that happens.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, me. All right, turn my speed down.
Well, I feel very strange when it comes to Labor Day weekend because after 36 years of teaching school, I'm ready to get my stuff packed for going back to the classroom. And Dale says he thought 12 years between him and his sister was a long time.
There was 22 months after me, and my sister came along. 22 months after that, my brother came along. We were almost to the day.
Wow.
Well, within 10 days, we were 22 months apart.
So you have
Pretty.
one month where you can do all your birthday celebrations.
Yeah, I was September. My sister was July. Of course, my mother and my father are both in July too. And then my brother was in April.
Now, Zed is asking if you heard about the guy who installed a window in his backside. He, he said it was a pain in the butt.
I bet. Oh me, those little cracks I had. Um, Cracks in wood are funny. Splits, whatever you want to call them. When I turned, well, in this particular piece of wood anyway, as I turned it, the leading edge, the edge toward me, actually had fuzzies that rolled back the other way. So I'm standing in reverse, and that has knocked them down completely. Um,
Now, when I turn something like that, like I notice you can still see part of the pith on that left edge.
right.
What
Some of
I
that's going to get.
Yeah, what I do is I turn that down right away so I know where the top is going to be to
Uh huh.
aim the bottom towards.
Right. Yes, I'll be turning that away as you were saying.
Now, why did you put the bead in
Well,
that area?
I yeah, I felt like the bowl was getting small, and so the bead allowed me to uh, change directions a little bit, but also just gave it another point of interest. It's a little south of mid of center. Um, what's one thing I've noticed, and
Yeah, but
others as well.
once you trim that top edge and establish where the top is, it might end up in the center.
It's going to be close to center, yes. Hopefully, it's going to be just south, and I can always remove it. Can always remove it.
That's
Since,
true.
especially since I do have the two curves, you can probably see it better down here on this end. These two curves line up pretty well.
Yeah, they do. Scott says that his upcoming live will be about where he's been, what's coming up, some question and answer, and some fun projects on the lathe.
Good.
Sounds great, Scott. Any idea what time of day you're going to do it, Scott? And Dale says that he has a brother that is at least 5 years younger than he is. Sister was a mistake. Parents had too much to drink one night at the officers club. Just as long as they know which officer is her dad.
Mm. Yeah, I said mistake a while ago, and there really are no mistakes. Sometimes we have happy accidents or
Accidents.
unplanned family enrichment events.
Zed put in his link. I presume it's for tonight. He's turning another bull from his recent birch acquisition today.
Okay.
Yeah, when I came home from Port Elgin on last weekend, I brought home a half log of birch, which I don't get very often down here, and I was so pleased with it. I cored it out to make sure I had two of them.
There you go. That's something I've not done in a while, and I want to
Well,
get
you
some.
can do it on your next live.
Maybe I've got some logs here that I could easily do that with.
Hey,
Some
JP
of that.
has just joined us.
Hey, JP, some of the sycamore that is still laying in my son's yard, needing to be cut. I want to cut some big pieces and core some of that. But I've got some walnut here. I've got some other things here. Piece of live oak sitting just off to my right here. It would make an awfully good core. There's a piece of Osage orange over there. That would not make a good coring piece, but I may core it anyway.
It mightn't be bad. Pete says his youngest brother is 25 years younger than him
Oh my goodness.
and 18 months younger than his son. He thinks that was a bit of an accident.
Now that is quite a crack right there.
And
And
Heather has joined us. Good afternoon, Heather.
hey, Heather. Oh, there it is. I started to say, okay, what happened to my coffee grounds? But I see them.
I didn't take them.
Nope,
Honest, I
I've got
didn't
them. I've
take
got
them.
them. And these, some people would be very proud. These are not brand new coffee grounds. These are grounds that came out of pods. Opened the pod up and dumped them in a plate and let them dry good. And the couple times I've used them, they work just as well as the fresh ones do. And I'd only used fresh espresso grind before, stuff I we bought that I didn't like.
Now you can see how that crack's coming right out of the pith.
Yes, there's the pith right there.
And Zed says his kid had classmates where one was the uncle of the other.
Oh my, yes, yes, yes.
That would be
That's
awkward.
I've known a lot of folks who had nieces and nephews older than them. That's the only one I'm going to fill, just that one. The rest of them are so small, they wouldn't hardly be worth the trouble.
Scott says he's going to probably do his lives on Thursdays at 11 a.m. or noon so that his friends from the UK can join in.
There you go.
And Jamie says that his sister is 2.5 years younger than him and figures she must have been in an accident. After all, he doesn't know why his parents would try and improve on perfection.
Jamie. Jamie. I can't do it like the girl with the blue house and the blue window. Jamie.
And Chris Walters has joined us asking, how are you all doing?
Hello, Chris.
It's going well here, Chris. Hope you're doing well.
do my usual thing with the putting this bowl in the chuck, mostly one-handed. Just keep going around until they don't want to turn anymore. Don't want to over tighten. What I have found a couple of times when I've broken a tenon off, chances are I've used two hands to tighten that chuck. And when I do that, it's like almost like it cuts the tenon off.
And Todd is suggesting that everybody make sure they watch Mike's Dances with Aardvark's mystery turning. Knowing Mike, it'll be a great video. And Mike says he just hopes it doesn't go wrong.
Just double checking this glue line, make sure it's dry. These glasses I've got are relatively new, and they've got 9 glue spots on them.
Only 9?
Yeah, I've only had them on once when I've used glue before. First time I did it, I thought I waited long enough, sprayed the accelerator on it. Lo and behold, 9 glue spots.
And Heather's asking, where do bad rainbows go? Well, they go to Prism. It's a light sentence, but it gives them time to reflect. Good one, Heather. I think you're going to want to go lower than that to get rid of the pith.
Yep, I'm just at it now.
Yeah, almost to the top of that crack.
There we go. Change my camera. That, yeah, you can see that little dark streak right there. That is the pith.
Todd just told Heather that that joke was worth a pot of gold.
Okay, I've got the pith out. It's good on that side. I think we're good. Other than I got to clean up the outside of that crack now. But everything's working perfectly. Give it a little more speed now, just to give us a little cleaner cut.
And Scott just pointed out that those times of 11 or 12 are West Coast time, Pacific time. So there'll be a couple of hours change for Eastern Standard Time and then another 5 for England.
Yeah, it's what now, Scott? 12:30 your time?
And it's 3:30 our time.
3:30 our time, 8:30 British time, or Irish time, or Scottish time, or
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Wayne with us this evening.
I did measure the moisture content in this sycamore when I cut it earlier today, and it's down to 17%. So I'm real happy to turn it, get this vaccinator out of the tailstock before I hit my elbow on it.
And Ron and Todd is warning you not to watch out for that word perfectly because you don't want to jinx yourself. And Real Simple Things has joined us. Good evening, Boz.
Hey, boss.
And Boz, this is some sycamore that Doug is turning. Now Scott says 11 a.m. his time, 7 p.m. UK time.
Okay.
It's a nice cut you've got going. And Karsten Peterson has joined us. Good evening,
Hey,
Karsten.
hi, Karsten.
I was thinking of you today, Karsten. I saw a posting by a fellow that made a life-size shark out of Legos.
Hmm.
And I forwarded that picture of it down to a young friend of mine in New Zealand. He does a lot of Lego work. And Rob from Copper Owl has joined us. Hi, Rob.
Hey, Copper. All right. Roughly have a depth hole there. Switch over to Jamie's favorite tool. There we go. The number one hollower. Because it does a phenomenal job.
And Lucy says she's been helping Gideon build Lego today. I
All
think
right.
those are great for teaching kids basic engineering skills and architectural thinking. Oh, and
Spatial
Karsten,
relationships and all kind of fun stuff.
yep, Karsten has after his name, aka Artful Penguin. Hmm, you'll have to explain that one, Karsten. Now, you and I have very different systems for finding the bottom or depth. Lucy says, I don't want to see how many kilos of Lego they have in the house. Well, my young friend Tom in New Zealand has a ton of pieces of Lego he's done. And Rob says he's been turning what he thought was pine 3 or 4 bowls now. Now he's starting to wonder if it's cedar. Well, the smell
Mm,
should tell you.
yeah. It's amazing how quickly that number one hollower will take wood out of a bowl.
And Karsten says that Artful Penguin is what he decided to call his show off website. He loves penguins and discovered the double meaning of artful a few years ago. That's great, Karsten. I love penguins too.
Ah, that cut gave it a much smoother cut, and then we'll come in with a scraper just to take out any of the last ridges that are left. And there are a few. A little low, of course. Ruby, try to remind me after a while to share both of those other bowls.
Yes, I will. Pete says that recently Doug has been experimenting with the new light gauge for finding depth. When the light comes through, he stops cutting.
That's right. That's one of the pieces I want to show y'all after a while. Oh, we go through spells of stuff like that, and yes, I definitely had my spell. About 4 pieces in a row there. Seems like anyway. It's a bunch of them. Back down to 600. In fact, I'm going to come back out here to the outside, start my sanding over to get rid of this CA glue that's out here. That
And
should.
Zed has suggested to Rob that he might be turning Pinus gabra, which is called cedar pine.
Cedar pine. Huh.
Can't say I've seen that combination ever.
I've heard more combined tree names here lately than ever before. I don't know if people are crossing trees intentionally or just what the deal is.
Well, I'm going to have to check out Karsten's website later on. Whoops.
Somebody must be walking down the street. I may have to come back with a gouge on the outside here just to. Got a little place right there in the between the bead and this top curve. Needs a little attention. So I'll get a small spindle gouge. That one ought to do it. That should do the trick. Yeah, Ruby has Maggie.
Yeah, Maggie was just letting me know that the mailman had come by with a parcel.
Ah, okay.
She makes the world's greatest guard dog.
All right. I don't know if you heard me, Ruby. I just used a spindle gouge just to go in that little corner between the bead and the top curve to get that glue out of there.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Sandpaper wasn't quite getting to it. Um, Speaking of parcels,
Yes.
I've got a parcel in the other room. I just got it together just a little while ago. I am sending a package of Salisbury Craft Colors off to Pat Carroll.
Oh,
Didn't yeah, quite interesting.
you could have waited a few months and sent them to him in Atlanta. That's where he's moving to.
I am sending them to North Carolina. He's got a good friend who lives there. Yes, he's relocating, um, which is what he said. I sent him a YouTube message, said, I'm about to send these colors out that Jay asked me to send to you, and I need a phone number and an email. Well, I got a phone number, but I did not get an email. And he gave me the same address that Jay had given me. So they had already talked about it.
Hmm.
So yeah, he's just a few weeks from coming. He's going to come um, before he actually moves. He's going to come, and he's got a bit of a tour that he'll be on, and then he'll settle into his new place. And but I'm real excited about him trying the Salisbury craft colors. They ought to be good colors for him.
Karsten says there was a BBC article on someone who'd stolen from a toy shop. They wrote it as toys and Lego. So he guesses it shows that Lego is now considered more than a toy. Yeah, I definitely would consider it more than a toy. And Zed says he always cuts to the correct depth. He just doesn't decide whether he's turning a bowl or a funnel until he settles on the depth. And Mike, I think that is Karsten's website. Just Google Artful Penguin. Scott says that lately he's noticed some really bad turners on YouTube getting ridiculous high views.
In that
What
case,
what's with that? Yeah.
I'm with you, Scott. Um, I don't claim to be the master. I don't claim to know all the answers. In fact, I make more than my share of mistakes, hoping that somebody else doesn't have to make them. Um, but yeah, there's some turners that I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And getting big numbers, not just views, subscriber numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, the pieces Karsten has on his website are really quite nice. And Jamie says he wouldn't say he's getting good views. And Larry's got to go. Bye, Larry.
Larry, have a good one. Glad you could join us.
And Rob says he really likes your bead on the side.
Beads are one of those things, for the most part, people can take them or leave them a lot of times. Um, I watched a Canadian turner turn a vase that he put a bead in the neck, and he really didn't like it at first. And the longer he looked at it, the more he liked it. I told him I liked it, but I could see taking it out as well. But because of where he placed it, I could see him cutting the neck off, the mouth of the vase off, just above the bead, and it would have been beautiful. Any of those three ways would have been great. And sometimes they're just like that. Oh,
Hmm.
um,
Zed says there was a big push from YouTube to do shorts, but he feels like a 30-minute video that is 4 hours of work compressed is already too much compression. A short is just too short to do anything meaningful. I would
well,
tend to agree.
you're exactly right, Zed. I don't think they mean for you to do 40 minutes compressed into a short. Just pick out one little segment Um, Jamie, you might have some advice on that. You've been on YouTube a lot longer than most of us and done it
Dale,
all.
Dale says he knows he's not the best turner. He doesn't get very high numbers either. Myself, I don't really care.
Right? I, I I look at the numbers, but I don't. If that makes any sense. I look at the numbers just to see where I happen to be. I really don't care that much. Um, I cared more when I was working toward being monetized, but then I was monetized and they demonetized me without any real explanation. I am not tickled with my dust collection right now.
Now, Jamie says there's an app you can use called Opus Clips that will take your video and make it all for you.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I'm sorry. Say that again. It'll take your video and do what?
And make it.
Oh, like do the editing and all that business?
Apparently.
Opus Clips.
And Scott says there's a channel called Rocket 77 that's really scary. Yet he has a few thousand subscribers and 50,000 plus views on his videos. Unsafe and stupidity reigns in his videos. Yeah,
Mm.
that's sad to know.
I turned that on. I put that CA. You didn't see it because I'm on the wrong view, of course. I had a crack. That same crack that was on the outside was on the inside. I put CA on that, medium CA, and I turned it on, turned the lathe on immediately. My thought was, let the centrifugal force pull that out into the crack. Then I sprayed it with some CA, and just letting it run to dry the accelerator now. I'll I'll resand. Yeah, just a little bit. It won't take much. Most of that glue went straight into the crack.
Well, Jamie warns don't use the tags that app gives you. And Mike says that his last video is pretty disjointed because his nose was running and he had to edit out about 100 sniffs.
Could do like a lot of these guys, record the video, but no audio, and just play music.
Yeah, but
Or
they
some
tend to
people don't
play,
like that either. So
yeah, they play it too loud. Pete says he's
sometimes,
done a couple of shorts by snipping out that 15 seconds when the shavings are flying right and run that at half speed to make a 30-second shot. And he says that if you get 1 million views, YouTube will give you a penny.
that's about the truth.
Oh dear. And Haya Matza has joined us. Hello.
Just a quick little cleanup.
And Lucy says she's found the people they now follow through originally watching Wayne. He told us about his channel when we met him at Yandel's, and he was introduced to us by Emma. It's a small world, isn't it?
It really is. Really is. All right, what did I do with them? Oh, I know where they are. All right, I've got to go in the other room to grab a sprayer. Ruby, pick between blue and red.
Oh, definitely blue.
That's what I thought I remembered you saying 2 weeks ago.
You've got a good
Oh,
memory.
well, I wasn't sure. That's why I asked you.
I'm the wrong person to ask, especially after 2 weeks.
Oh, usually after 2 minutes, I'm done.
And Scott says he's too short of having 600 subscribers.
Too short of 600. All right, folks, if you're not subscribed to Scott, go subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. All right. Again, we've got that where you can see it.
Yep.
There we
And
go.
Salisbury
Salisbury
Crafts.
Crafts Blue.
Yeah, I
Um,
used the yellow the other day on the bottom of a bowl, and wow, is that ever bright?
mhm, mhm. His colors are, they're not like some of the colors that have been out on the market where they're kind of earthy, muted kind of colors. These are bright, vibrant colors. Um, I can't help but think that these are more the colors that were intended with the carnival colors. Um,
Mhm.
I don't.
Now, Heather says that she hopes that if anyone sees her doing anything unsafe on her YouTube, that you'll call her out. Don't worry, Heather, I would call you out on that. Heck, I even give Doug heck.
Yeah,
Right, Doug?
once in a while. Once in a while, and I
Mhm.
usually deserve it.
Number of people have said they started out just by watching Wayne.
Sure, sure. Um, Wayne was doing some good work even before COVID, and then when COVID came, he started multiple shows a week, and a lot of folks didn't have anything else to do. A lot of folks started turning in 2020
Yep,
during
because
COVID.
of COVID.
Didn't have anything else to do, so they went and spent a couple dollars, got themselves a lathe, and let's see. Before I start, I'm going to put that other glove on. I was only going to put one on, but let's put two on.
Well,
Got two sitting right here.
that last trip I made to Harrogate, the wood show in England, was really great because I got to meet Wayne in person. I got to meet Karsten and Lucy and a number of other people.
Very good.
Unfortunately, I didn't see you there. Now, have you got a little sprayer on that bottle?
I do.
No, I just ran it through my airbrush.
You could. The first couple of times, that's what I did. These, the that particular.
Now I'm going to give you heck because you didn't cover your ways.
Oh, I'm not concerned about them. This is water-based color, and it will wash right off.
After
Besides
it
that,
rust, after it rusts them, of course.
Ruby, that's what everybody says. But you know what? These ways have not had anything on them to protect them ever. And I got this lathe back in 93, I think. There's no rust on these ways.
And Pete says he bought some from Salisbury Crafts, and if he's back in time, he'll experiment with them on September the 14th.
There you go. I was going to say, not only is the color Salisbury Craft, the sprayer comes from him too. Little spray nozzle.
And several people have just signed up for Scott's wood turnings, and
Excellent.
he's now over the mark.
Good deal.
Thank you for that, Doug.
Absolutely. People helped me when I was getting started, and I am most willing to help others. Now, how did I get all that on the inside? I wasn't paying attention what I was doing somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, these these spray well, but they've also got a switch right here in the middle. It's now turned off. That will not spray accidentally. So I
That's
use
neat.
Yeah, use that feature to uh, I close off the nozzle, but it also um, allows me to hang it from a shelf back here.
Aha.
So I've got 3 colors with the sprayers in them. I'm going to come back. I'm going to let that spin for just a second. And then,
Yes, you did get some inside. Zed
oh
says
yeah,
that
oh
Wayne's
yeah, it looks like
disco
I sprayed straight
dancing
into it.
channel stole most of his time. Yeah, that's true. Especially when
He
they
does have a
started with
disco.
the pole dancing.
He does have a disco channel. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie came up with that, and it's hilarious. It is hilarious.
And Mike says he thinks Eddie was a pupil of a pupil of a pupil of mine, of Alex. That's quite possible.
Go to a heavier grits than that. It's not
And Scott's now up to 603.
all right. All right.
And Heather says she worked all through COVID, but she also started turning in 2021. It was a good stress reliever. And Enchanted Wood Design says nice color. And yes, I found his colors are really nice and bright, and they've got a good depth to them. And Mike says he got his lathe at the start of the first lockdown, but didn't use it for a year. Oh dear. And Jamie wants somebody to help him out because he's almost at 14,000. Well, they won't let us subscribe more than once, Jamie. And Scott says thank you for the shout out about his channel, Doug.
Like I said, Scott, no problem. But I don't mind helping anybody. I've helped a couple of people get their channels going just by mentioning their names and suggesting people go sign up. Next thing I know, they surpassed me. That's okay. That's okay.
Mike says he only got a lathe to turn tool handles and things just kind of escalated. Zed, I don't know why it would make a difference whether I watch or not. He thinks knowing that people like me watching might make him a better turner. I might not
Wow.
make a comment, but I'll watch.
Absolutely. There's a lot of videos I watch that I don't make. Well, I may make a comment later. If it's a live, I don't necessarily make a comment during the live. Uh, if there's a problem, I'll a lot of times I'll message the person. Unless it's a huge safety issue, then I may call them out openly, but I
No,
won't be ugly about it at all.
no, I do it in private.
Yeah, yeah, I usually do. Um,
One chap, I set up a piece on the lathe, and when I called him, I did a video call and I showed him what he did and showed him why it was wrong. We've been best of friends ever since.
there you go. And I
Enchanted
appreciate it,
Wood.
Ruby.
I didn't mention any names.
No, no.
Enchanted Wood Design says he got the lathe for chair legs and furniture, and 23 years later, he still hasn't made them.
Hadn't made the chair legs.
Yep. And Heather says she thinks she subscribed to everyone here. And Alex says he got his first lathe in '98 and probably only turned it for a handful of years since then.
All right, that's one way to get rid of the blue.
That's right.
Wasn't quite going away as quick as I wanted to on the. I could have sanded it, I guess, but just quicker by cutting it out. And it's a light cut, very light cut.
Dale says that he's never had any hands-on instruction. All of his learning is from videos and practice.
There you go. I had a couple of I had a Jimmy Clues lesson, um, and then a couple of other more local people who were awfully good. And that's it. Most of it, like you say, Dale, practice. Time at the lathe means everything.
And Pete says that for all you YouTubers out there, when you do it wrong and you know I'm watching, do you also feel the ruler on the back of your knuckles? Pete, I've never struck somebody with a ruler. I don't teach that way. Zed says he imagines myself and Wayne sitting in a gallery above, watching and tut-tutting. We'll do that after we pass on, Zed. Usually when I watch, I try to look and see what did they do that I really liked. Most of my learning wasn't from YouTube because back then YouTube didn't exist.
Right.
Instead of taking a vacation to go to Florida or somewhere, I'd take a week and go to France or England or somewhere else and take a class with people like Stuart Mortimer, Jean-Francois Estelin, Alain Mayon. Um, Alan Batty and I were very good friends. And despite all of his teasing, he made sure I learned how to hold the tools properly and turn correctly.
Still got a patch of blue that I thought was gone.
And Scott says that he had to say something during a Rocket 77 live demo when the guy was using a large Japanese pull saw to cut a tenon off between the chuck and the bowl with the lathe running. I would say something to, I saw that, Scott. Um,
You said
although,
using a chainsaw?
and Jamie wants to know when I'm going to listen to the advice I was given. Probably never. I'm too old, Jamie. Actually, no, he used a Japanese pull saw.
Oh, pull saw. Okay. I
I
misheard
will
what you
I
said.
will admit that I have used a chainsaw on a piece to texture it with the lathe running. And what was key to that was the lathe was running in reverse, and I did make sure I had my face shield and a helmet on, so I was entirely safe. And it was a small chainsaw; it was only a 12 or 14-inch one.
I've thought about one of those little battery powered 8-inch ones for texturing. Like you say, it would need to be in reverse. Do
Well,
it safely.
when you're done, I'll have you highlight me, and I'll show a piece I did texture with the chainsaw.
Okay. I'm just trying to get rid of this blue that's in here. There's still a little spot right there, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Want to.
Now, Alex, my advice to you is definitely go and take a lesson from somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
Um,
It does make a difference.
uh, Pete says that since I'm only 28 inches tall, that makes it a large chainsaw. It's funny you would say that, Pete, because I was thinking about Emma Cook, and when I went to the Record Power, and they had me on a lathe there, the fellow that was filming it made a comment that the lathe was just as high on me as it was for Emma.
Emma Emma has had to learn how to turn on lathes that were significantly too tall for her.
So have I.
I bet you have.
In fact, turning on Pete's lathe, what did we measure it, Pete? As 11 and a half inches too tall for me? That's why when I cleaned his shop, I didn't clean under the lathe because I needed something to stand on so I could reach the tool.
Oh, that makes a difference.
Yes.
Having an empty can and a fresh can makes a world of difference.
You know, it's really important when you're picking a color to put on a wood like that is know what color the wood is going to turn to when you put the finish on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you had used a different color, it might have clashed with the color of the wood and not look very good.
Yeah, that's one nice thing about sycamore. It's got its own color, but it's a lot, very light color, and
Yeah.
so it does take stain and dye nicely. It stays relatively true to what you put on it. That yellow one that I did a couple weeks ago, and I'm about to show it. You can see some of the natural color coming through. In fact, let me go back 3 weeks or a month ago. I turned this nice little guy that I went through the bottom. And I told you I would plug it. There's the plug. I took a piece of Mopani and I turned a disc as big as the foot with a pin that would go through all the way through. And I had to take about a quarter of an inch out of the inside of that. So I've got a nice smooth curve going through there now. My foot, which is has just a thin stripe of sycamore at the very top, but the rest of it is Mopani, and it just came out just a very pretty little, just a little accent bowl. Good one to have laying around. And then the one from 2 weeks ago, the predecessor to this one, and this one will be a part of the same set, is the yellow bowl. Had no issues with it. I didn't go through it, thank goodness. But as I said, you can still see the grain, especially over here. You can see the grain coming through these colors. That's one thing I like about these Salisbury Craft colors.
Yeah, that yellow is really brilliant.
Yeah, there's the inside, just like the other one, just like the blue one. Nice and clean on the inside, but yellow on the outside. This one will be blue. So this will be a part of my faux um, Fiesta Ware. Was talking about it with the lady who runs our shop where I sell some of my goods, and she says, you know, the original Fiesta Ware they used uranium in the colors. That's a glassware with color on the outside, white on the inside. They use uranium in the paints.
Yeah.
I said, well, that doesn't sound real good, but at least my faux Fiesta Ware will be food safe. So she said, oh, good. Of course, nobody's going to eat out of mine. I don't think they could, but I don't think they will. So I've just got a coat of sanding sealer on it is all we've got. This will get the same
No,
uh,
you gotta
finish as this.
hold it a little more to your left. More. Yeah. No, no. Right there. Right there.
This this has, as you can see, that's got some shine to it. I've got 4 coats of the Rust-Oleum 2X clear gloss. It's a clear enamel. So anyway, and it'll get the same thing on the inside. So will this. This will get the same thing. It's kind of a flat.
I really like the blue.
Yeah, it's kind of a flat color right now, but it will shine up. It'll be really pretty. And on the inside, I've got some sanding to do on the inside yet, um, but it won't take me 10 minutes after we're off the air. But I wanted to show you these other 2 bowls just to show you I do finish them up. Um, and this one will be finished as well. We'll get finish on it. Once the finish is all on, I'll take the tenon off, make a foot out of it, or make a foot on the bowl. I've still got a little space there. I'll have a foot. In fact, both of these bowls will end up with a foot. If I put that on the face camera, sitting there wondering why it's so difficult to get everything together.
Well,
But anyway,
I didn't want to say anything.
both of these bowls will get their
Yeah,
finish.
the blue is going to be really nice with the finish on
Yeah,
it.
I like the blue. Um, Now I've done yellow. You saw the green in the big bowl, the big salad bowl, which is still in the bag with the shavings. I still need to get that one out one of these days. That may be next week's project is to get that out, finish it. Then again, I may go on to something totally different. But I want to do about 6 of these bowls, different colors on every one. Um, I still got red, green, orange, brown, purple. There's a pink I may not use. I'm not a fan of pink. Um, just I just don't like pink. Um, and there's
Todd says,
black. There's always black
Todd,
too.
Todd says, nice Kentucky Wildcat blue, Doug.
That is a Kentucky Wildcat blue, and I'm tempted. Oh, how I'm tempted to get a little white fingernail polish. UK across there. Ah, 11 weeks until basketball season. Can't wait.
Oh dear.
We're we're supposed to be looking good this year. We just got a top recruit transfer, so I'm excited. But anyway,
You
there's 2 of the 8 or 9 bowls that we'll do of this faux Fiesta Ware, and
want to highlight me for a sec?
yes, we can do that. Get back over here. There's Ruby.
There's the piece that was textured with the chainsaw,
Mm,
and then it was lightly burnt with a torch.
okay.
And the secret to that is you have to make sure the lathe is running in reverse away from you. Because, think of it this way, your chain is going this way, so you want your lathe going in that way away from you as well, so that it doesn't come back and hit you in the forehead.
Yeah, yeah.
And like the fellow Scott was mentioning about with the who was cutting with the Japanese saw, I imagine he was having trouble because the lathe wasn't running in reverse.
Could be. Could be.
So
There was a time, golly, how long's that been? Uh, Back in the early to mid 90s, folks talked about, let me switch this view again. Oh, come
yeah,
on.
switch me out of here.
If I can get all right, the mouse is being silly again. There we go. Bink, bink,
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah,
Um,
Zed
Back,
was asking if the chain was turning. Yes, the chainsaw was turned on when I was doing that texturing.
right?
That's why you had to make sure it was in reverse.
Sure. There was a time back in the early to mid 90s, and it never took hold for good reason. But to part, you do things with they typically used a long tenon. They didn't really know all about chucks just yet, and so people were leaving long tenons. But to cut them off instead of you could start them with a parting tool, but parting tool you go so deep and they tend to get hot and they start getting grabby, right?
Yeah.
So the thought was grab a hacksaw, let the hacksaw finish it off. I've done it, and for a hacksaw, unless you turn the blade around, it has to be running toward you and forward. The lathe has to be forward, or the hacksaw's not going to cut unless you turn the hacksaw blade around. So I have done it once. I didn't like it, so I quit doing it.
No, if,
um,
if you're parting with a parting tool and the tool is binding, make sure you're wiggling the tool like that in order
yes,
or doing cuts beside each other to give
right.
yourself clearance room.
Even if it's only half the width of your parting tool, you can
Yeah,
very easily go all the way through. If you'll make it's like you're actually making two cuts and you're back and forth the
yeah,
whole way in, and just a little at a time. Some people get real joy out of making that cut. They start playing with it and just taking their time, see how thin you can get it, and you can get very, very thin, depending on
yeah.
your wood. Well, let me say thank you again to all of you who are in the chat. It's been a great time. This bowl came out nice. I've got a little more work to do on it, a little more sanding on the inside, particularly, and we'll get it finished up this week. Between working and everything else that has to be done, ah, being out of work for several years and then going back to work, it's a huge adjustment. I'm
I,
surprised
I
how
would
big the
I would
adjustment.
I would be surprised if it wasn't.
Oh, it's been rough. It's been rough, and I'm working retail again, which is physical. I'm wore out every when I come home. If I sit down, I'm done, just absolutely done for the night. So I've got to come home and go ahead and do something, or I'm out. So anyway, folks, it's been great. Thanks again for the 100,000 view milestone. That was a big deal for me. It just encourages me to continue on. Now we got to get on up, get my subscriptions up. I was up a little bit, thought I was going to hit 1,300 a couple weeks ago, and YouTube decided to take a few subscribers off. So I'm still shy of 1,300. I'd love to be at 1,500 by the first of the year. So share if you can, share it out. I do need to make some regular videos. I've heard a couple of people recently talking about got to do videos, got to do videos. Yes, you do. Uh, my subscriber counts was going up when I was doing videos. I've been doing lives now for 2 years, I think, maybe three, however long it's been, and my subscriber count has just it's just parked. So it's been
Well, a
almost.
lot of people are back at work now.
This
COVID's
is true.
slowing them up.
A lot of folks have gone back to work. Still a lot of people out of work.
And
Most of
then
them
don't
by
and Zed makes a good point. Don't forget to hit the like button down
yeah.
below. That
Hit those
helps
buttons, he
Zed
says.
out.
Hit the like. Come back in a little later and comment. It's the comments in the comment section immediately or shortly after anything, whether it's a live or a video. Those comments are what tells YouTube they need to push a video. So if you will, please go back in or come back in, put something in the comments. It doesn't have to be long. Just anything that you want to say will be fine. Hi, bye. That was awful. Love the blue. Hate the blue. Whatever it might be. Um, it's all good. It's all good. But comments will tell YouTube that it was worth the watch. So thank you, folks. Appreciate it. Until next week. Hope you're able to spin them around. Bye
And
bye, everybody.
thank you, Doug, for letting me show a few of my pieces.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for being here, Ruby. We'll see you all next week. Bye bye.
Night.